All right, welcome everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us today for the Illinois Cares for Kids and Ready for K webinar. So jumping right in. So today we're going to talk about the Ready for K program under the Illinois Cares for Kids initiative. Through this partnership, our evidence-based program is available to educational organizations across the state of Illinois at no cost. Today, we're going to share more about the program specifics and the evidence-based approach. We'll highlight the impact that the program has had on family engagement and student learning in Bloomington District 87 specifically. And we'll also show you how to enroll your families. So before diving in, I did want to introduce myself and my other colleagues that are also on the call and who you'll be hearing from in later sections. So my name is Weezy Howe, and I'm Director of Strategic Partnerships at Parent Powered. I'm joined by Leslie Blockman, Illinois Aware Grant Manager at Bloomington District 87, also a current Illinois Cares for Kids and Ready for K partner. And then also Rebecca Honig, the Chief Content and Curriculum Officer at Parent Powered, and excited for you to hear from both of them in the coming sections. So our partnership under the Illinois Cares for Kids initiative is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Early Childhood Education, so GO-ECD, and INCRA, the Illinois Network of Child Care Resources and Referral Agencies. Through this partnership, districts, schools, early childhood programs, and Head Starts all have access to our Ready for K Core and trauma-informed programs at no cost. And the goals really of the partnership are to engage Illinois families in their children's growth and development, close learning gaps, and reach families consistently with strength-based tips and activities via text message. We also give administrators access to tools and information that they can use to ensure that the program is maximizing impact within their community. The program serves families with children from birth all the way through 5th grade. It's reaching them all year long, so throughout the school year and the summer months, with accessible strength-based tips and activities that really build parenting muscle over time. All the messages are leveled for the child's individual age and stage of development. And Illinois partners have access to both the core, which is our whole child, and trauma-informed versions of the program. It's also available in multiple languages, specifically English, Spanish, and Polish across both versions, but we do have additional languages as well. And for the Illinois Cares for Kids program specifically, we have 2 messaging streams. So in addition to the messaging stream delivering the tips and activities, the Illinois families will also receive messages from a supplemental messaging stream, linking them to additional supports from Illinois Cares for Kids. So now I'm going to pause and I'm going to pass the mic over to my colleague, Rebecca, our Chief Content and Curriculum Officer, and she'll walk you through the approach, the curricula, and all that goes into the program development.
Great. Thanks, Weezy. And hi, everybody. Yeah, so I'm going to quickly give you a sense of what the experience is like for families when they participate in the program. So as Weezy mentioned, we send families 3 text messages a week. What you see up on your screen right now is that Monday fact message. So every Monday we send parents and caregivers a fact message that orients them around a specific skill and why it's important to their child's development. And the skills are different at each age and mapped onto state standards, including the Illinois Learning Standards. High-level information on academics and child development is distilled into 160 characters, and everything is written at a targeted 3rd grade reading level. Given how overwhelmed parents and caregivers are and all they have on their plates, this really allows them to glance down at their phones and discover a skill that's going to help their child thrive. Then on Wednesday, we send a tip message that gives a fun activity to grow the skill of the week. And the activities are always building on existing daily routines, like counting your steps on the way to the bus. And this is really critical because we don't want to give families one more thing to do, right? Instead, we want to leverage what they're already doing. To ensure access, we never require additional materials either, just working with the people, places, and things that already exist in a family's life. And I'll note that we work with experts to review and version messages for cultural appropriateness and to really ensure that we're suggesting activities that resonate with all different lived experiences. And this is really a cornerstone of our strength-based approach. We want parents and caregivers reading these tips and thinking, oh, that's easy. I can do that. And then finally on Friday, we send a growth message, which offers a dose of encouragement and gives families one more way to grow the skill of the week and take it a little bit farther. And this careful scaffolding really allows families to build new skills on top of known skills. Again, that strength-based approach of setting families up for success and really ensuring that families have everything they need to deliver these everyday activities. So the Ready for K approach works. It was first studied in a randomized control study with the early education department of the San Francisco Unified School District. And they have a targeted pre-K program that serves the city's lowest income third. So we randomly assigned half of parents and caregivers to receive program messages and half didn't receive the messages. And we found that parents who received the text messages were more involved at home and at school. And this was reported by teachers who weren't aware of which parents were receiving the messages and which were not. And we found that children whose parents participated gained 2 to 3 months of literacy skills over the course of the school year. I'll just note that we've extended the results of this study in several ongoing studies. We have multiple evaluations at any point through partnerships with researchers at Stanford and Brown and Notre Dame. And we now have the strongest evidence base in the field of digital parenting support. I'll also note that we chose text messaging because it is by far the most effective way to get valuable information and services into the hands of even the hardest to reach families. You may be aware of these statistics already, but I find them fascinating, so I'll just share them with you. We know that 97% of American adults under 50 have cell phones, and this is regardless of their background or economic resources. And we know that of those adults, 98% send and receive text messages, and those text messages have a 98% open rate. So when we compare that to email open rates in education, we see a much lower rate. Email open rates are around 26%, and push notification rates are even lower. So we know that we are reaching families with these activities. Now, it's important to note that though this evidence-based fact tip growth approach, and again, this continues all year long, every week, 3 times a week, 52 weeks a year, and it applies to all of our programs, the content at each grade level is different. And of course, this piece is critical because we know kids have unique needs based on their age and stage of development. And we know that the parent-child relationship shifts as children grow. And families really need new ways to support learning and new strategies to navigate, which is why our programs grow right alongside of the child, always looking to give families that just right way to help their child learn and thrive. So we'll look at our curriculum a little deeper right now. So what I have up on screen right now is our 0 to 3 curriculum framework. So in infancy and toddlerhood, we're really heavily focused on helping parents and caregivers build that secure attachment with their child and navigate the complexities of being a new parent. So we support them in responding to their child's cues and finding everyday moments to build language skills and explore in hands-on ways, just to name a few. In the preschool years, we offer play-based, hands-on activities that really lay the foundation for a love of literacy, curiosity in science, number sense, phonemic awareness, and friendship skills. We offer ways to help kids problem solve and navigate transitions like starting school, and ways to help kids cope with things like separation anxiety and big feelings, which I know we all have a lot of. And then moving on to the elementary years. So this would be our K through 5 curriculum framework. We give everyday ways to support academic benchmarks and standards. So as I mentioned, we align with the learning standards of all 50 states, including the Illinois learning standards. And we leverage the unique parent-child relationship to do this, making sure that we're always orienting skills around parents' strengths. So they're really supporting and building on what's happening in the classroom, but through their own experiences and through their own lens. So, for example, we don't ask families to teach fractions, but rather help their child experience fractions as they work together to measure things out during meal prep, right? This is our strength-based approach, again, where we're really just looking at what families are already doing and leveraging those moments. And we find lots of ways to give kids rich experiences at home to complement and support what they're learning in school, while also building other key skills that help children thrive at this age, like friendship skills and their ability to problem solve and their power to navigate emotions. We also give parents strategies for partnering with their child's school, for communicating with teachers, for ensuring that they have a morning routine that gets their child to school. And even though the funding for this program is focused on birth through fifth. For this partnership, I just wanted to quickly orient you around our middle school program because we do have grant funding available for that program. In those middle school years where parents tend to go from captain to co-pilot, we support them in helping their child build independence while also communicating to their child, I'm still here for you. And it's a tricky dance, but we give parents ways to help kids grow executive function skills, navigate friendships and social situations, cultivate a growth mindset, and really begin to see ways that their passions and interests map right onto the things that they're learning in school, all while supporting their child's autonomy. it's It's a complicated dance, but we're very excited to get to do it. And we also help parents understand adolescent development and ways they can navigate the middle school context. So much research goes into the curriculum at each age level. The picking and scaffolding of those just right skills and activities takes countless hours. But when the skills and activities make it into the hands of parents, they look like this. They're easy, they're strength-based, and they give parents and caregivers that I can do it feeling. And the messages you see above are from our core whole child curriculum. And though we're showing messages in English right now up on the screen, we offer this core program in over 10 languages. We also have a trauma-informed program. And our trauma-informed program is aligned with the Protective Factors Framework, which, as many of you are familiar, sets forth 5 qualities that help to buffer the effects of trauma on young children. Our trauma-informed program was reviewed and informed by mental health experts, community health workers, and families impacted by trauma. And it still covers many of the key topics we just showed you in our core program, but it offers a whole host of added supports to account for the widespread impact of trauma. So it has about twice as much social and emotional support as our core program. The academic skills, which are all still in there, are scaffolded a bit differently, sequenced a bit differently in order to really account for areas in which parents might be activated by their own negative experiences in school. So helping them overcome any feelings they might have or hesitations they might have about supporting learning. Also, 30% of the curriculum supports parental self-care, resilience, and executive function. So I thought we'd just kind of zone in really quickly on some of these protective factors, or on all of them, and just ways that we address them through our messaging. So we work a lot on building parental resilience. We want parents to be strong when they're stressed. This used to read strong, not stressed, but that is not realistic. We want to be strong when we're all stressed. It's going to happen. So how do we stay strong? So really, to build that, we've introduced a lot of parental self-care strategies, helping parents and caregivers to recognize and manage their own stress, parental self-regulation, executive function, and healthy habits. Again, we take a strength-based approach to all of this content. So for example, what you see here is a reflective practice that we're building in parents. So in the sample message, we want families to notice what's happening around them, what they're feeling inside during moments of stress. And then we want them to think about a time they got through something hard in a way that they felt good about, right? So we're starting with a skill or a strength that the parent already has, and we're building on top of that. Yes, we offer lots of strategies to families, but we want them reflecting on what's already working. What are they already doing so well, and what do they feel good about? And then we build on top of that. This next domain that we focus on is social connections, right? So it's all about having those relationships in place that are going to provide you with support, having that network of caring people that help handle challenges and help families to feel secure and confident. So within this domain, we work on messaging families on recognizing and leveraging healthy and supportive relationships, communication strategy. So how do you reach out to a teacher or to a friend or a community health worker? Also, what are the things around you where you can find other families and connect with other families? And finally, conversation starters for connecting. One of the things that came up in our research is that families perceived that teachers and educators didn't want to talk to them. And when we dug into this, we realized that what was happening is families were trying to reach out at drop off, right? Where teachers seemed distracted because they were welcoming students into the classroom and setting the stage for the day. So we created a whole messaging set, for example, around, reading the cues and knowing and asking, when is the right time to reach out? What's the best way to communicate? So that we're setting the stage for really positive homeschool partnerships and communications. So this next protective factor is all about understanding child development and parenting strategies to better respond to a child's needs, right? It's all that knowledge that allows you to say, like, oh, that's why my child is behaving like that or focusing like that, or, it helps families interpret their child's behaviors and also understand, what are some of the benchmarks and what are the skills we can be building. So as I mentioned earlier, within this domain, we house all of those wonderful academic skills, the whole child curriculum that covers math, literacy, and STEM-based subjects. And we orient families around what kids are learning and why these skills are important and what families can do about it at home. But as I sort of stated earlier, we do include some different scaffolding within this domain than we do in our whole child core program. So a perfect example is that in our core program, we might early on in the messaging set include a week of messaging on dialogic reading, right? We wouldn't call it that, but we would call it, talk about the importance of asking your child questions as you read. Well, in our trauma-informed program, we first want to lay the foundation for building comfort with books. So they're going to receive, before receiving that dialogic reading message, a messaging set all about, read in any language you like. It's okay to make mistakes. It is your voice that makes books special. You can read just by describing the pictures, right? We want to set parents up to enter into that experience from a place of strength and find a point of entry into building that love of books in any way, in every way that's comfortable for them. Finally, not finally, but second to last, the next protective factor that we focus on is social and emotional competence of children, right? So these would be all of those skills and interactions that help kids develop the ability to communicate clearly and recognize and regulate their emotions and establish and maintain relationships. It's all those strategies we all know from being classroom educators that this is what allows you to teach, right? And build that class community. So we include calming strategies, activities that help kids name and express emotions and really normalize and create rituals and routines in the home around talking about feelings. We work on problem solving skills, building routines and that and secure, and again, reading children's emotional cues. so that families can recognize before children begin to spiral or become activated. They can go, oh, I see it happening, and now we can do one of those exercises we've been focused on. And we all know, of course, when families are building these skills at home, they're going to travel with children into the classroom, so children are going to be better able to focus and learn and regulate and interact. So, this last protective factor is all about getting families help when they need it. And this is where that support stream that you see up here under Illinois Cares for Kids comes into play. So, in this partnership, right, we learn about resources that are most key to your community. And we're collaborating with Illinois Cares for Kids team to connect families to a whole host of wraparound supports, including SNAP benefits, temporary assistance for food, shelter, utilities, energy assistance through LIHEAP, links to childcare assistance, and many other resources that they will find within this messaging stream through Illinois Cares for Kids. So, of local connections, I thought we would dive deeper into that local lens. So, we are going to hear from Leslie Blockman, the Illinois Aware Grant Manager at Bloomberg District 87 in Illinois, who'll share how Ready for K is working with her district.
Thank you, Rebecca. Hi, everyone. My name is Leslie Blockman. I am a grant manager for Bloomington School District 87, right here in central Illinois, Bloomington. And my background is in school social work. And so right now I'm managing a grant that has to do with social emotional learning. So just wanted to tell you a little bit about how this came about in District 87 and how it's going for us. So I saw an advertisement for Ready for K about a year ago, and I felt this personal interest and professional interest. I remember feeling like if I could have asked for some sort of social emotional parent engagement type program, this would have been it. The tips and tricks being developmentally and educationally aligned, sent right to your phone. So convenient, makes it helpful and easy to do. And also during that time, we were still dealing with COVID and the rebounds of what that did to our students and our families. And so even though families were physically together, physically close, it felt like they were distanced emotionally. And so I remember feeling like this was the perfect way to help our parents get involved again, start communicating again with their students. And so and then just as a parent, I remember feeling like because I have a 3-year-old, I remember feeling like these would be so helpful for me. And now that I get them, I'm often like, oh, this is so neat. I'll try this. Or sometimes it reassures me that I'm doing the right thing. Like, oh, great, we've tried that. I'm doing that. I'm going to keep doing that. So just a little bit about how our journey came about. Our early childhood program is funded through the Preschool for All grant, and this grant requires evidence of engaging parents. And we work really hard to provide in-person monthly activities for parents. But with Ready for K, we found that we can involve our families and parents with their students learning on a weekly basis. Our mission here in District 87 is to inspire all students to learn and achieve to their highest potential. And we know that this isn't possible without that parent engagement and involvement. And so this curriculum just seemed like the next best thing for us. It fit perfectly with our desire to include parents in what we were doing in the classroom. So I worked with teachers and we reviewed the framework. We appreciated the large scope of the curriculum, as you just heard Rebecca say, from math and reading, hands-on skills, social emotional learning, and well-being, and that aligned perfectly with what we do in the preschool setting. And so that was a huge factor for us. And at the end of the day, though, for us, it was about boosting the parents so they felt confident in engaging with their children. So what we did after working with the staff to get to know the curriculum, we created a remind message. That's our way to communicate with parents on a large level. We also created flyers for parents so that they'd be informed that this would kind of automatically start happening, but that they could opt out if it was something they didn't want. We use Skyward, and so the program with Ready for K, they talk very easily. And so once a parent enrolls in our early childhood program, they're automatically enrolled into Ready 4K. No hassle on our secretary, nothing more from the parents. If their home language is Spanish or one of the other ones that Rebecca mentioned, then that's the text they receive, the same text but in their language. So it's very easy to integrate, no student data shared, and then the parents can easily opt out. We've enjoyed this program so much at pre-K that next week we are rolling out to our elementary. We have 6 elementary buildings, and so we are really excited to see how that goes and what feedback we get from that. Thank you for listening. I'll hand it back over to Weezy.
Thank you, Leslie and Rebecca. So now I just want to jump into the logistics. I know, Leslie just provided us with a little insight into how easy it is to get things up and running, but really want to showcase kind of how all of our tools are really designed to help partners reach as many families as possible and also evaluate the impact that their family engagement work is having in just a really low lift way. So in the next slides, I'll walk you through these tools from enrollment all the way through reporting. So district schools or childcare providers who are serving more than 30 families will have access to a dashboard, which looks like this. We have integrations with Child Plus and Clever, which allow partners to kind of seamlessly launch their families into the program with just a click of a button. But for partners who aren't using either of those integrations, the dashboard does allow for them to enroll families in just a few clicks by securely uploading the raw data. So the only data that we need to enroll families is what you see here in orange. So phone number, the language the family speaks at home, the child's date of birth, their cohort or grade level, and their zip code. Most partners just run an export from their student information system, and then they drag and drop the spreadsheet into the dashboard and essentially click launch. So enrollment can happen in just pretty much a matter of minutes. And then once families are enrolled, they will receive a welcome message on the first Monday following the launch. And they will also begin receiving the curriculum targeted to their child's age or grade level in their language of choice. And then once the program is up and running, the dashboard provides insights into, live enrollment, persistence, usage, and demographic data as well. As you can see here, we show, total number of families enrolled, number of messages sent over time, as well as enrollment growth over time. And all of this data can also be downloaded and imported into any additional data visualization you have. In addition to sending out the Ready for K curriculum, we also send out quarterly in-text surveys to all of our parents. The questions vary by curriculum. Here are some examples of the questions we ask in our core program. For the trauma-informed program, we ask questions that measure the extent to which the program has strengthened the family's protective factors. But regardless of which program, we always start with a research-based multiple choice question. If the parents respond to the first question, then we ask a follow-up open-ended question and we aggregate all the results and display them in the dashboard. We also share the qualitative and quantitative feedback from all the parents. And this is just really helpful for our partners to understand how their families are responding to the program. And these sentiments are echoed by the families we serve. So we're consistently hearing that our messages help increase parent confidence, strengthen relationships with children, and really help the children grow and learn. So here are some examples of responses that we received from parents, and I'll let you kind of read through these, but I can read out one of my favorites, which is, when I'm stressed, it's hard to focus on the kids. The text helped redirect me. Here's something to think about. Having the reminder was really life-saving. So that is it. This is a little bit more information on how to reach out to us if you have additional questions, but also there's an opportunity to plug any information into the Q&A box.
Sorry about that. I had a little trouble getting on video, but thank you, Wheezy, for that great overview, and Rebecca for going into the research behind everything and exactly what families receive with Ready for K. And a very big thank you to Leslie for sharing how families in Bloomington 87 are really benefiting from the Ready for K evidence-based messages. We are going to get to questions here in just a second, so feel free to add them to Q&A. And as Weezy has mentioned, we are really pleased to offer Illinois institutions like yours the use of Ready for K at no cost through a partnership with Illinois Cares for Kids. You can take a look at sample messages and find other information about the program at our special Illinois webpage, which is Illinois-cares-for-kids. That's there on your screen. And we're also putting it into chat right now for you. So I encourage you to go over there, learn some more information. There's a flyer that you can share with others in your organization if they have questions and want to learn more. And we're, of course, ready to have you sign up anytime you are. So you can do that by emailing illinois@parentpower.com. So, all right, let's go ahead and take some questions. And we've got one that came in through chat that we'll get started with. And again, if you've got questions, if you could put them in that Q&A icon, that'll just help us keep them organized. So first question, can parents or families get alerts for more than one child? And particularly if they're at different grade levels, how does that work?
Yeah, I can jump in and respond to that. Yes, we do have the ability to message up to 3 children. So if there are multiple children in the family, the experience is a little bit different. So we won't send 9 messages. We'll still only send up to 3 messages per week. And on Monday, we'll send the fact tip growth for the youngest child, tip growth all at once for the middle child. And then on Fridays, we send the fact tip growth for the oldest child. And when we're importing the data, it's just a simple, the phone number would be the same, but we would know that it was a different child based on their date of birth and cohort level.
That's great. So as a child ages, the messages just automatically get to that level. So the parents and the educators don't have to do anything. That's great.
With them. Yep.
So we have a question about the cost, which it looks like Michelle got an answer herself, which is that yes, through Illinois Cares for Kids, there is no cost. But another question is, how long is that offer available for? How long will folks have use of the program at no cost?
Yeah, I can jump in again. So the program is available at no cost through the end of the school year, but we are working with our partners at the state to extend the program beyond the school year. We also have, as Rebecca mentioned, for the middle school program, which is not covered under the Illinois Cares for Kids partnership, we do have grant funding available, which we can follow up with as well.
Great. Leslie, a quick question for you. How many families are receiving messages in Bloomington right now? And if you know, what percentage of that is the families eligible? So basically, how many families have embraced Ready for K?
Yeah, we have over 400. I think it's like 400. And I was just looking at, I think we've only had about 15 to 20 families opt out.
That's great.
And so, so like I said, we'll be expanding to our elementary next week and hope to have the same amount of participation.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. The research shows that families definitely embrace this and find it useful. We see probably back to you on this one. Are organizations able to choose and use both the regular and trauma-informed programs, or is it one or the other?
Yes, so we work with mostly districts who are implementing both programs. So we will do it at the school, down to the school level, where they'll decide, this program is best served by the core and this one by trauma informed. But for the most part, if you are, a child care provider or an individual school, we recommend implementing just one version of the program that best serves the majority of your families.
Okay.
I'll also just add in there that parents are not aware of which program they're in. So if you are an individual receiving the trauma-informed program, you are not informed that it's a trauma-informed program. It just is a trauma-informed program. So I just wanted to mention that.
No, that's great clarification. And I don't know any human on earth, as you alluded to, Rebecca, that could use some help coping with
I
stressful
know.
situations. So,
Yes.
I'm happy to get those trauma-informed messages.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, Leslie mentioned that she has very low opt-out, which is great. But what is the process if families start receiving the messages and then decide they don't want them anymore?
I'll jump back in here on that. It's pretty easy. So if a family replies stop to the messages, then we will remove them from the program and we won't message them again. So it's a pretty easy and seamless way to opt out.
Great. Well, I think that that is all the questions that have come in so far, though we do have some time. If folks have any others that they want to put in Q&A or chat, we're happy to take them. And again, we've got that Illinois landing page that the URL is up on your screen and in chat if you want to go find more information. There's sample messages. There's the curriculum breakdown that Rebecca had shared. So you can dive in a little deeper. And also, as I mentioned, there's a flyer there that you can download and share with others in your organization that might be involved in decision making around a curriculum like this. But it is available at no cost. Super easy to get signed up and get started. And you can do that by emailing illinois@parentpowered.com. Feel free to email that with any questions as well. And happy to set up a time to chat or to give you another walkthrough, a closer look at the program. So very willing and wanting to get all our Illinois families up and running with this great program. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. And we will be sharing out the recording in an email in the next day or two. We'll also be posting it to that Illinois landing page so you can go back and look at it and get any questions answered. But thanks again, Leslie, for being here with us today and for sharing Bloomington's experience, and Rebecca for sharing all that great background and research, and Weezy for walking us through the nuts and bolts of how it all works. So thanks, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.